Hello and welcome to today's video as we cover some key statistical contributors from the two series that took place at MSI today, and some things that I thought about, throughout the day and posted on Twitter. So first we have Team Secret Wales Top Esports. Obviously this is an upset, right? On the stat side of things, technically it isn't, but at the same time it definitely is. This is where I talk about my power rankings and how over the entirety of the season I anticipate the LCP to drop due to CFO no longer being part of the LCP. And CFO finished top 8 at Worlds, so they did deserve a team in the top 8 at the end of 2025. But Team Secret Wales have been top 5 for pretty much the entirety of the season. And today they beat another top 10 team in Top Esports. We did not have any four of the teams that played today make any movement in the power rankings as well, due to the fact that it is a whole entire season's power rankings and not just what happened today. Regardless, the Secret Whales play a solid brand of League of Legends, them and Furia in particular, and Gen G, BLG. Really, those four teams over the entirety of the season have played solid League. Now, you see first, second, fifth, and then 19th, right? That is literally regional differences. CBLOL doesn't win internationally. And LCP kind of sometimes, not really, does. And then LPL and LCK do most of the winning, right? So that's how these teams end up in these places. But the point is, the Whales play a solid brand of League of Legends. Top Esports coming into this event were the only team that I had that had any negative analytics. They died more than they had kills. They actually were outspent in gold. I want to say maybe Drake's or Baron, one of the two, they were middle of the road as well, which nobody else at this event had stats like that. Top Esports very much peaked in playoffs to get to this event. That's why they're still technically, third in the power rankings in the LPL. And frankly, if it wasn't for the fact that they're going to this event, they're probably worse than anyone's legend. It's just they get a boost from being here. So them losing based on the stats is not a big surprise. The regional difference is because this is the first time, I believe, I look back at it, I could be missing something. This is the first time that Vietnam has won a best of 5 at MSI or Worlds over the LPL or LCK. This is the first time the LCP or the regions underneath it, that includes historically LMS, Flash Wolves, PSG Talon, Maple, Gam, Levi, DFM with Evi, Utapon, Oceania, I'm not reaching that deep. Pradith and Reyes and there are names popping up, but I'm not 100% sure if they went to Worlds or not. Regardless, did not find a best of 5 win against the LPL or LCK, but Team Secret Wales did today. So that is significant, and it is the first time since LCP. So sorry, actually, I guess I was wrong. LMS did win a best of 5 against LPL, LCK. This is the first time Vietnam has, and the first time anybody has since Season 2 Finals, Taipei Assassins. So literally, when they won Worlds was the last time this had happened. Top Esports, looking at it, outside of Mid-Season Cup, which in my opinion was a Rift Rivals, Top Esports has never beaten an Eastern team internationally, and now that includes LCP. In a best of 5, they've never beaten PCS, VCS. They haven't had opportunities to play them, really, but they never lost to them, and they've never beaten them either, and never have beaten a Korean or Chinese team in a best of 5 at MSI or Worlds. So that is definitely an interesting thought. So that's the thing. So the Whales win 3-1. They took 11 of 20 Drakes, 5 of 7 Barons. Led for about 70% of the minutes played. They were dominant in their 3 wins. Top Esports had some moments in the early game where they had a slight lead, but Team Seeker Wows were always ahead in some way, shape, or form, including Drake value. That's why even down here we see nearly an even gold score at 15 minutes. It is very much the Wales world in that series. His toe was strong. A solo kill, 24 and 27. Dyer had a solo kill, 25% of the team's damage. A widespread damage share. The output was from everywhere. Eddie, 2 solo 2v2 kills, 78 KP, getting involved, unlike the last series against HLE. 2,700, 22 gold per Baron, which isn't great, but it was doable. Cream, 9, 11, 15. Jackie Love had 7 solo or 2v2 kills in this series with 29 damage share. He is not the reason why they lost this series. Feng Yu, 75 KP. BA had 3 solo 2v2 kills of his own. Pun had 2 solos. Tien had 2 solos in game 4 on Kiana. So the bot lane duos combined for 12 solo 2v2 kills, which needed to happen. It needed to be chaotic. It needed to be messy. Only in the end did they have a 350 gold lead. Top Esports in the bot lane duo, 200 for Cream, 200 for his toe, 400 in top lane for Pun. Zuan struggled. Young player, that's going to happen. A lot of people want to say he choked. I just think he's a young player, and that's what's going to happen. It is what it is. This is a massive upset, given the history. But based on the stats, it's not as big. Technically, the only upset that's occurred at this event, based on the power rankings, is TL over KC, technically. But in the grand scheme of things, this is obviously a massive upset. It's great for Team Seeker Wows. I'm always thrilled when there is an upset like this. These regions that get very overlooked. I mentioned a few weeks ago on my Twitter that I do think Vietnam is the 3rd strongest region in the world, and that the cup that shall not be named, I expect them to be in 3rd through 5th depending on format. So this is not a surprise when it comes to that. HLE G2. HLE crushed G2. It was not even close. G2 struck out on comps. They struck out on, they tried. They tried. And in the end, this was the biggest blowout of the tournament thus far in terms of gold difference. 86% of the time, HLE were in control. They took 8 of 10 Drakes, 3 Barons, only 2,000 gold a Baron because in game 1, their Baron was negative 1,000. Game 3, they had already won the game by the time they took a Baron. Zeka had 5 solo kills, but did not win the matchup at 15 minutes. Caps actually had a gold lead of 150 gold, so I give it to Caps. Guma, 31 damage share. Kanavi, 74 KP. BB had a solo kill. Played Warwick, played TF, tried very hard to... they tried. They're going to have to do that. You can't play straight up against HLE as G2, in my opinion. You've got the part of G2's pizzazz and the way they create an opportunity for themselves is with draft. So sometimes there will be swings and misses. 73 kill participation, BB leading in KP. Not really a good sign when your top leader leads in KP. Caps, 34 damage share. Zeus hit 2 solos as well. 840 gold lead for him. A 650 gold lead for Kanavi. That's huge. Skuman struggling in the early game. And then this here. I saw the record for Guma, but let's just talk about the bot lane duo together. 2,547 gold difference at 15 minutes. That is a fucking blowout. Now, I don't, a lot of times people will say, this was dominant, this was a war crime, oh my God, they smacked them, they gapped them, this and the third. No, this is like the standard for that. Where you won the game and there was no doubt that you won the game at the end of laning phase. 2,547 gold. That is disgusting. And I understand they got cute. They had Seraphine bot for a game. I get that. That wasn't even the worst of it. And really, there weren't a lot of 2v2 kills either. There's a lot of interaction, of course, with the rest of the team and influencing the matchup. But it should never get that bad. No matter how much they could camp your lane, it should never get that bad. So we're looking at like 500, roughly 1350. Looking about almost a 38 to 4,000 gold lead at 15 minutes. 3,800, 4,000. Now, people said, oh, well, G2 lost quicker to HLE than Team Secret Whales. They should be higher than, Team Secret Whales should be higher in the power rankings. The amount of time it takes a team to lose in a situation like this, in particular, does not mean shit to me. Because I feel like G2 you have to play from ahead. You have to play from ahead as a team that's the underdog, a team that, in my opinion, needs to show the other team that is used to winning early game and used to playing from a lead and dominating their opponents, that they need to play from behind and respect you. Now, G2 has that respect already, just because of the nature of who they are. It's just they still need to play that aggressive, I call it like a smash mouth League of Legends. They need to play an early game. You can't scale. Scaling is not going to work. So the thought that, well, they didn't lose in 35 minutes. They lost game 3 in 24 minutes. It didn't last till 35. I'd rather lose quickly than die by 1,000 cuts. That mid to late game T fight, in my opinion, is Eastern favored. All other things equal, because they're just more used to playing those chaotic team fights at a very high level of play. So, play from ahead. So, G2 getting smoked. I didn't expect them to get smoked. I had HLE winning this in a close series and had Wales getting smoked. So we went 1-1 based on predictions of who will win, but in terms of what happened, not even close. This doesn't get affected. These 4 teams are very close. I mean, the top 7 teams are the 7 teams still left at this. Well, actually, that's a lie, Gen G. 6 of the top 7 are still here. So we'll see what happens. I expect more movement in the power rankings, especially based on who wins, and then also how the regional hierarchy changes. Because the LPL dropping out and the LCP moving up is going to be significant. It's going to really matter who finishes higher, LCP or LEC. Are they going to finish even? That should bring those 2 regions a little closer. And so thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.